business canceled and they will not be joining us this morning. It happens sometimes, people got personal stuff going on. I get that. I always have trouble with that in a sense because I feel like as a business owner, we should take advantage of every opportunity we have to promote our business, especially for free. But I get it. Things happen. This happens more often than you would imagine. And I just say that to say that if you are serious about your business, your small business, you could be black owned, it could be people of color owned or woman owned, local. I like to support local business because they're competing with the giants, the Amazons of the world. We like to back up David in the David and Goliath scenario, so you could be a small business. Also, socially innovative enterprises. So businesses who have community good as part of their basic operating philosophy. We like to highlight those. That's one of my favorite kinds of businesses. All of those are welcome in. And you can reach out to me, diprimaradio@gmail.com. Diprima Radio, DIPRIMA, diprimaradio@gmail.com. Or you can hop in the DMs in any of our socials. We're at KBLA 1580 everywhere. And I'm at Diprima Radio, DIPRIMA, and then radio, especially Instagram. Don't DM me on Facebook, but everywhere else, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, I will get it. And let me know about your business. We've had many a business come from meeting me online in social media. One thing that I do want to let you know about is something called Ramp LA. This is a website, rampla.org. It stands for Regional Alliance Marketplace for Procurement. Regional Alliance Marketplace for Procurement. This is how you learn about contracting opportunities, how you can get contracts with the government. And this is absolutely crucial right now because of the Olympics coming, right? You can go on rampla.org. You can set up a profile and register your business there and get a lot of opportunities. I'm looking right now, Olympic climbing wall structure and platform only. These are requests for proposals, right? BMX racing field of play, design and build. Olympic velodrome track replacement, design and build. Vehicle driver and support services. These are just a few at a glance at rampla.com. .org, excuse me, rampla.org. And they allow you to register your business, and there's all kinds of different opportunities on here that you can bid for. They also have business services. They can connect you to the source centers, business tax resource centers, which is out of the mayor's office, the office of Mayor Karen Bass, the minority business development agency, which as far as we know is still functioning. And also they have bond assistance through the Office of Small Business, open data. They can help connect you with the right spot to get building permits and much, much more. So this is a hub for businesses, and I would encourage you to get on. There's a section all about opportunities, about contracts, and then there's support, and you can register your business there. Look, we've got the Super Bowl, the World Cup, and the Olympics. These are all massive, massive projects coming to the city, and many times we think the only people that will have access to this opportunity are the big dogs, right? The giant businesses. And as Sheila Mix just said, we can easily team up with a bigger business and be a provider under them for these contracts. But also, you would be surprised. I know I was. This is for the city of LA. The county has a similar website. I don't know it off the top of my head, but I was surprised how smaller businesses are able to compete and really get some jobs, get some work through these city and county contracts that many times we just count ourselves out of because we don't think we have the capacity. We don't think we're big enough. We don't think we can compete. And I know that, I don't know the rules around this, but I know that in the past, local businesses have been a priority, making sure that businesses that are actually based in Los Angeles City, in LA County, are benefiting from these giant projects that come in and do put a burden on businesses because they're going to clog up streets. They're going to, in some ways they create opportunity with more and more people coming through the city. In other ways, it's going to take us longer to get from point A to point B. We may have to make adjustments to our work life. And so it is imperative that we also benefit. So my Wealth Builder Wednesday tip for today is to step up, to check out rampla.org if you have a small business, and see, can I get a little piece of this Olympic money, a little snippet of this World Cup money, a tiny taste of the Super Bowl money. And this is one place to start. I'm Dominique DePrima. We're opening the phones wide open for whatever you want to talk about. Did you watch the State of the Union? Do you care? Are you still on these Epstein files? Are we ever getting off of them? Whatever is on your mind. Are we going to war with Iran? Will the generals convince the president that that is a very bad idea? All that is next. 800-920-1580. 800-920-1580. That's the number to call if you want to talk about anything from tariffs to, fashion. I don't know. I'm Dominique DePrima for KBLA Talk 1580.
Thanks for starting your morning off with a voice that speaks truth to power and the powerless, getting to the heart of what matters most in our community. This is where authentic conversation meets real action. From breaking news and politics to culture and community solutions, this is where you hear perspectives you won't hear anywhere else. This is where we come together, get informed, and make change happen. You're inside First Things First with Dominique DePrima on KBLA Talk 1580.
Good morning, sunshine. You make my day.
Are you drowning in IRS tax debt? Angela was. She called Civic Tax Relief and saved over $80,000. Felicia was having health problems, got behind on her taxes, interest and penalties were adding up. She called Civic Tax Relief and saved over $15,000. Civic Tax Relief is a professional tax negotiation firm that can protect you from the IRS. If you're getting collection letters, call Civic Tax Relief for a free consultation. They will go to work helping you discover all the relief programs you may qualify for free. James owed the IRS $37,000. Civic Tax Relief represented him against the IRS, and by the time everything was completed, he did not owe the IRS anything. If you are in trouble with the IRS, call Civic Tax Relief for your free consultation now. 800-200-2257. 800-200-2257. Get a free consultation and real tax relief. Call 800-200-2257. 800-200-2257.
Well, good morning, kiddo. I love that you're home from college. I've missed you.
Still taking your nature-made vitamins?
Every day. A multivitamin and a probiotic. You better be taking yours.
Still looking out for me, Mom.
I'll never stop.
Made to care for you every day. Nature Made, the #1 pharmacist-recommended vitamin and supplement brand. Find us in the vitamin aisle, based on a survey of pharmacists who recommend branded vitamins and supplements.
This Friday night, KBLA Talk 1580 invites you to gather with us as we honor a legend. Join us at 7 p.m. at the historic First AME Church for a celebration of life for the Reverend Jesse L. Jackson Sr., civil rights leader and tireless champion for justice. For decades, Reverend Jackson stood on the front lines of change, fighting for voting rights, economic opportunity, and equality for all. Now the community comes together to reflect, to remember, and to celebrate a life that helped shape a nation. Music, prayer, powerful tributes. That's this Friday, February 27th at First AME Church in Los Angeles, 2270 South Harvard Boulevard. KBLA Talk 1580 thanks our partners for this celebration of life service in honor of Reverend Jackson, the United Faith Coalition, the Empowerment Congress, LA County Federation of Labor, and SCLC LA. For details and coverage, stay with KBLA Talk 1580.
I am black, beautiful, fly.
What's up? What's up?
What's up? We got to laugh the pain away.
Hey, KBLA delegation, happy Black History Month. Around here, we celebrate our culture, our community, and our contributions daily. But this year, as we observe the 100th anniversary of Black History Month celebrations, we're excited about our annual KBLA Talk 1580 Black History Month Luncheon, honoring comedy greats. On Thursday, February 26th at the Grammy Museum in downtown LA, we're toasting D.L. Hughley, Melanie Camacho, Earthquake, Munell, Dion Cole, and Martin Lawrence with a surprise guest appearance. A limited number of individual tickets for the luncheon remain, so now would be a good time to head to KBLA1580.com to secure one for yourself. That's KBLA1580.com. A little laughter goes a long way, especially in times like these. So come, join us for our annual KBLA Talk 1580 Black History Month Luncheon, Thursday, February 26th at the Grammy Museum. Again, tickets are available right now at KBLA1580.com.
Well, I hang around my boy. He's been married for 6 years. Videotaping his wedding day, never watched it. Now every day he watch it every day, but he watch it in reverse. Because he said he loves seeing himself take that ring back off of that finger. Walking back down that aisle, just waving at her ugly mother down the church. Getting back in the limo, back at the bachelor party. Look how happy I was.
KBLA Talk 1580 thanks LA City Council members Curran D. Price Jr. and Heather Hutt for being the presenting sponsors at this year's Black History Month Luncheon. Honoring excellence, resilience, and achievement, we're KBLA Talk 1580.
The conversation continues right now with Dominique DePrima on First Things First.
I saw Molly Bell in the YouTube chat yesterday telling me to watch the State of the Union so she could get my analysis. And I'm sorry, Molly Bell, but I did not. I did read about it. I did listen to some clips. But I'm laughing because Attorney Jaye Person Lynn nailed it. He said, he was going to... He pretty much said what the president was going to do, which is sit there and brag about how he's fixed everything, ended wars, lowered gas prices, that he was going to just brag and lie. And that's what he did. He bragged and he lied for an hour and 41 minutes. It is the longest State of the Union address in U.S. history, meaning even our droning on and on founding fathers didn't talk that long, okay? And, Trump, he's trying to save himself. His approval ratings are in the toilet. 60% of Americans disapprove of the president. That is not good. That is the worst ever for him. And so he tried to, make it seem, he did like a cheerleading dog and pony smoke and mirror show, with medals and Melania and hockey and all these things. But at the same time, he was doing the doom and gloom thing, trying to blame and shame Democrats. Notably, that back and forth with Congresswoman Ilhan Omar, where he's blaming immigrants for everything. And she says, talking about ICE, you kill Americans. And he's saying, she's shouting over the crowd, and he's saying you should be ashamed of yourself. And she says, you kill Americans. And she's right. Look, I talk a lot about Keith Porter Jr. because I don't think enough attention is given to his case. Say his name, Keith Porter Jr., killed in Northridge on New Year's Eve by Brian Palacios, who, to use Attorney Person Lynn's talking point, who happens to be an ICE agent in his day job. But, Renee Good, Alex Pretty, and a bunch of others have been killed by ICE, right? And the ones I just named are all U.S. citizens. So Congresswoman Omar was making a valid point. But, and Democrats tried to appear unified by refusing to stand for the president and such. Did it work? I don't know. I'd love to hear your thoughts. 800-920-1580. 800-920-1580. What we know for sure is that the president lied a lot. It's kind of his specialty, though, so this is not a surprise. He says he ended 8 wars in his first 10 months. Okay, so first of all, define war and define end. Among the wars he claims he's ended is the one in the attacks by Israel on Gaza. True, they did sign a ceasefire, but Israel keeps killing people. So how is that an end to a war? They're carrying out airstrikes. They're killing civilians, and they have steadily done so while they expand their encroachment on the West Bank. They've steadily done so ever since signing the peace agreement. What kind of peace agreement is that? Where I can just keep warring and say that I have a peace agreement. He's counting that. He's counting Thailand and Cambodia, which apparently they did sign a ceasefire, but went right back to fighting the next month. So again, lying. In any case, 800-920-1580. We can go step by step through this thing. He keeps lying about gas prices. He claims that gas is now below $2.30 a gallon in most states, and in some places $1.99 a gallon. Of course, that's not true. Apparently, some legislation that he's been pushing lately may bring the prices back up even more, but the only place you can get gas for $2.30 a gallon is Oklahoma. And that's not even $2.30, it's $2.37, okay? And the average price is much higher than that. If you're in California, like me, we're talking $4 plus, between $4 and $5. But he feels free to just lie, even at the State of the Union. Let's go to Big Phil calling us from L.A. Hi, Big Phil.
Never don't sleep. We're watching one Donald Trump. I don't waste my time. He's a joke. Anyway, I'm going to say two things. And I heard you this morning about putting money to the church. I do not give money to the churches. Actually, I grew up Catholic in years. They're all getting tax-free money, just like you said. I don't give tithes. Jesus is asking for money. Okay?
Whoa. But hold on. I want to make sure I'm not misunderstood. I'm not saying people shouldn't tithe. I'm not saying that. You should tithe if your faith requires tithing. I just don't think that they should be competing with nonprofits that are not religious-based for the same dollars. That's what I was saying.
Yeah, but Dominique, just my opinion. I just don't do it. But I ask somebody in church if I love gospel music when I go. Somebody needs to pay their rent and buy their car or something like that, I would do that. This is my own opinion, okay?
Gotcha.
And like I said, they make a lot of money. They tax-free money. And, another thing, on Inglewood, see what they're doing in Inglewood? They're trying to run people out of their own business because there's these big white conservatives moving back into the cities. It's just ridiculous. One black lady got to move in a minute. Got to relocate. I mean, it's just terrible. We just pray it's terrible. It's terrible, Dominique. It's just the case is there, okay?
Yeah, I really hope that, that we can see the kind of movement in Inglewood that we're seeing here in L.A. with black people buying the block and pushing back on the gentrification.
Well, they better get the buying, like I say. Call me all the time. So you don't call me no more. My name is Mr. Tiff. Just watch the movie. Anyway, I'm out. I love you guys. Stay safe.
Appreciate you, Big Phil. It's always good to hear from you. Yeah, I want to make sure that I'm not misunderstood. I'm not saying don't support your church. I'm not saying don't tithe. What I'm saying is that churches have their own rules and their own missions. And I think that nonprofit organizations who are religious and just do the work in the community should have their own pot of money and not have to go toe-to-toe with churches. And part of what I was telling Ms. Mix is that we think of the black church, and of course we do because we go to the black church, right? We think of the black church and the great work that many of our black churches are doing, building housing, helping folks with all kinds of things, from burying their loved ones to giving out food. And what we're not thinking about is where we are right now in America, where you have a strong white nationalist Christian constituency. Some of these folks are actual white supremacists, right? Others are highly conservative, politicized churches that are driving a lot of what's happening in government, whether it be in the extreme court, right, through zealots like Amy Coney Barrett, or whether it be inside of our government with their agenda. So you think about a Christian nationalist church starting a nonprofit, and then the U.S. government taking your tax money and my tax money and funneling it to that white supremacist Christian nationalist church through their nonprofit arm. And this is where we're going because we see the push to include Catholic schools and other religious schools in eligibility for government funding. So not only does that break down the separation between church and state, which is important in our country, because even though the majority of Americans are Christians, there are lots of other folks here, and we're supposed to have freedom of religion, even freedom from religion. If you're an atheist or an agnostic, right? If you're a Muslim or a Jew or something else, a Hindu, a Buddhist, some other religious tradition, you're supposed to have freedom, and you're not supposed to have to pay for somebody else's church. So if a white nationalist or a Christian nationalist white supremacist church is receiving big government funding through their nonprofit arm, that's a whole problem. I think it is. That's part of where this opinion comes from. So please don't misconstrue what I'm saying. Don't tithe or don't support your church. I'm not saying that at all. I'm saying that I don't think government money, taxpayer money, should be going for that project. Let's go to Shayon calling us from Long Beach. Good morning, Shayon.
Hey, good morning. I was just listening to you talk about the white Christian nationalist movement and all of that. And let's go back to the history books. We just got to do it. This whole battle between the white Christian nationalists, when you go back to us, the Moors, when we ruled them 781 years in Europe and Spain, was known as Spain and Portugal. We was Muslims. They were Catholic Christians. Those bloody wars that took place for hundreds of years, they finally conquered us in 1492 of January. It was called the Spanish Inquisition and the Christian Crusades. They never stopped it. They know the history. They in charge of the government right now.
So you think that the Crusades, you think that the Crusades never stopped? The Inquisition never stopped?
Well, watch this. Pull up a picture of Pete Hegseth with his giant Crusader crosses tattooed on his body.
Yeah, I've seen those before.
Yeah, exactly.
I can't unsee it.
But see, this is what we're trying to say. They know who we are. They know we Moors, that was forced to convert to Christianity after 1492 in what's called Spain and Portugal under the guise of the Catholic Church. They know the history. See, what we don't put together is, watch this. January 1492, Bobadil surrenders to Queen Isabella and King Ferdinand of Spain. Christopher Columbus gets the authority from Queen Isabella, October of 1492. Didn't they tell us that was the beginning of the transatlantic slave trade?
Yeah.
Then who? Okay, then. So if we was more than 1492 in January and got defeated, he starts the transatlantic slave trade October that same year. Who do you think he was transporting from that region over to the Americas? It was us, the Moors, except they reclassified us and relabeled us as Negro, which is Spanish for black. This is why, and a lot of us was forced under conversion to convert from Islam and Judaism to Christianity. See, they leave all this part of the history out. But these people that's running our government, Trump, Pam Bondi, Pete Hegseth, that's why you have a big uprising with this, what we call white Christian nationalism.
Okay, hold that thought. Hold that thought. I'm up against the clock here with news, traffic, and sports. You're invited to stay if you want. I always love to hear from you, Shayon, and I know you've got some thoughts on the State of the Union. Shayon, call me at 800-920-1580. I invite you to do the same. I'm Dominique DePrima for KBLA Talk 1580.
KBLA Talk 1580 is an intervention. When we come forward, includes you. KBLA Talk 1580, turning pain into power.
I'm Bree Wood with BIN News Now. President Trump's State of the Union turned tense as Democrats, including Ilhan Omar and Rashida Tlaib, shouted back throughout the speech. Here's how Speaker Mike Johnson.
I thought Tlaib and Omar and a few others really brought shame upon their party and upon themselves. The antics were outrageous.
The loudest moment came when Trump said lawmakers should stand to support protecting U.S. citizens over illegal aliens. Google is apologizing after a push alert about the BAFTA slur incident displayed the racial slur itself. The notification linked to a Hollywood Reporter story and was sent to only a very small group of users. Google says it was not an AI error, but a safety filter failure, and they're deeply sorry and working to prevent it happening again. And the Mega Millions jackpot continues to rise after no one won Tuesday night. The next drawing on Friday will now be worth at least $416 million. Get BIN News Now on demand 24/7 on the iHeartRadio app.
Now is the time to save on an award-winning Nissan at the Nissan Now sales event, featuring the Rogue, Pathfinder, Frontier, and more. Don't wait. These offers are going fast. Shop your Southern California Nissan dealers and NissanUSA.com today.
This is the KBLA Sports Minute with Ray Richardson.
Agonizing loss for the Lakers last night at Crypto.com. The Orlando Magic held on for a 110-109 victory after Luka Doncic and LeBron mishandled the Lakers' final possession with 6 seconds remaining. Doncic appeared to have an open look for a game-winning three-pointer, but chose to pass the ball back to LeBron. By the time LeBron got the ball with 2 seconds left, he was forced to put up a desperation three-pointer that was off target at the buzzer. Doncic may have been thinking about the bad shooting night he was having. He was only 2 of 10 on three-pointers before the Lakers' last play. The Lakers lost for the first time this season when they had a lead going into the fourth quarter. The loss dropped the Lakers into 6th place in the Western Conference, just 1 spot away from the play-in round. The Lakers were only 4-4 on their 8-game homestand. No debates, no speculation, just the info you need. That's your KBLA Sports Minute. I'm Ray Richardson. More news, opinions, and conversation when we come forward on KBLA Talk 1580.
This is KBLA Talk 1580. Talk radio that's music to your ears. We're unapologetically progressive. KBLA Talk 1580.
They call it progress, but progress has a price. Land once held in black hands, taken, stolen, erased. Acres paved into highways, fields burned. Homes replaced by parking lots and broken promises. Every deed lost was a dream deferred. We talk about millionaires, but what about the millionaires that never were? The farmers whose soil was seized. The families who watched their inheritance disappear. The wealth that never had a chance to grow because its roots were ripped from the ground. They took the land, but never the legacy, because the soil remembers, and so do we. Every story matters. Our mission is to collect, preserve, and amplify these stories If this is part of your family's history, visit blacklandlost.org/share your story and help bring us closer to justice.
Time is up. The IRS is in full collection mode for 2025, issuing liens, levies, and garnishments to anyone who has a past tax debt or unfiled tax returns. Don't wait till it's too late. Your paycheck and bank accounts are at risk of being seized. Call now and stop the collection process today. If you're living check to check, no matter how much you're making, you still may qualify for the Fresh Start programs offered by the IRS to reduce or even eliminate your tax debt. It's just a 5-minute call to get your options, and it's free. If you owe back taxes, have years of unfiled tax returns, under audit, have a wage or bank levy, or finally just want to sleep better, business or personal, call the experts at Republic Tax Relief while there's still time. A+ rated by the Better Business Bureau, and tough. This veteran-owned company has the fight you need to take on the IRS. Don't go at it alone. The call is free. Call their hotline number now, 800-259-4149. That's 800-259-4149. Find out if you qualify today. Call 800-259-4149 or go to republictaxrelief.com.
KBLA Talk 1580, connecting you with the world. African Focus Incorporated is a community-based organization whose mission is to bring Africans and African Americans together, lead charitable initiatives on the motherland, and educate people from all walks of life on the beauty, legacy, and opportunity of Africa's 54 nations. And it's that time once again when African Focus is teaming up with KBLA Talk 1580 for our 8th annual African Focus Trailblazers Tour. Travel with us in 2026 when we're headed to the southern African nations of Zambia and Botswana for a historical, cultural, and vacation tour led by me, Dominique DePrima, Cultural Ambassador for African Focus Incorporated. Enjoy luxurious accommodations, conscious fellow travelers, shopping, adventures, cultural tours, wildlife safaris, and a giant waterfall, one of the world's 7 wonders, along with a chance to be of service at an orphanage on the continent. Become an AFI Trailblazer by exploring the motherland with a nonprofit organization that has members in Africa and America to help roll out the red carpet for you, and together we'll make a difference and have fun doing it. For more information, visit africanfocus.org or call 310-676-7300. That's 310-676-7300 or africanfocus.org. Whether it's stateside or exploring the diaspora, we're with you every step of the way. African Focus and KBLA Talk 1580. Come go with us.
We knew you'd stick around. This is LA's home for progressive talk radio. Welcome back to KBLA Talk 1580.
Welcome back indeed. We're talking about all the things. 800-920-1580. That's the number Shayon called. I thought he was going to call me about the State of the Union, but he was talking about the state of, he took us to the Inquisition and the Crusades, the Christian Crusades, and the state of, the intersection of politics and religion really is what you were talking about. And so I wanted to let you land because we were up against the clock there with news, traffic, and sports, and see if you had anything to say, because I know you're very politically astute about last night's very, 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 very lengthy State of the Union address.
Yeah, absolutely. I just wanted us to understand that's why we are the main target always in this society, because they operate on the history and they know that we don't know it. But we always number one on the radar, and we always confused about why they always on our head.
Yeah.
Now you know why.
I mean, but honestly, but if you're being fair, not everybody that was brought to this country was a Moor. I mean, people came or a Muslim. Okay. So I don't want to get into it. Hold on. Let me rephrase what I said, because I don't want to have this whole conversation about the nomenclature. What I meant to say was everybody that came to this country as enslaved persons were not Muslims. Many of them practiced different spiritual traditions from the continent of Africa. That's what I meant to say.
Well, all I was saying is that under 781 years of being of us, the Moors, we were Muslims, and they was Catholic.
No, absolutely.
That's all I'm saying.
Understood. Yeah, just a point of clarity.
But, yeah. So, but on to this, I forced myself to watch it.
The State of the Ish show. Yes.
Yeah, I forced myself to watch it, and it was amazing to see how all of the Republicans, no matter what, this is how you know they fully on board. It don't matter what he say, what he do. They all stood up and clapped, even when they know he lying. They don't care.
That is such a good point, Shayon, because there's so
They
many
don't
times when he
care.
was clearly not telling the truth, and they gonna clap anyway.
And watch this. I'm gonna tell you something else. And when he made a statement and he wanted them to clap, he stopped and he started looking like y'all better get up and clap. And like little seals, they all hopped up and started clapping they little fins. And I was like, I said, what? But you got to see it to believe it, right? And once you see it with your own two eyes, it's hard for anybody to tell you saw something different.
Mm.
You see?
Yeah. Well, and that's part of creating the illusion that we're crazy, and don't believe your lying eyes. I was asking yesterday, will the president talk smack to the Supreme Court justices' faces? He did not do so. He what was it? The taco? He did the Trump taco. Trump always chickens out. And only 5 of them didn't go. So only a minority of the Supreme Court even showed up to the thing. It was a mix of people who sided with him and people who did not. But I thought that was interesting that he kind of backed down there.
Well, I'm gonna tell you this: they created the Frankenstein. Yeah. They created the Frankenstein. They could have disqualified him off the ballot with the Colorado case. When Colorado stood up and said no, he can't be on the ballot because he incited an insurrection.
That's right.
They sided against Colorado.
Yeah.
Okay. See, let's just keep the facts with the facts, right?
But most of those justices were appointed. I mean, a lot of them were appointed by him, and the majority of them are arch conservatives. So of course they went even further than that. They gave the guy immunity.
Well, okay. So what does that tell you? Look, watch this. He's in Epstein files numerous times. Now they're saying
thousands of times,
right? Yeah. That specifically, the allegation was he did something to a child. They took that out. So Congress is bickering about that right now. But look at all the stuff he's accused of. Look at what the Supreme Court did. Now you tell me that they don't have a bigger agenda. They just need Trump to carry it out. Because I think it's always been there, but no other president would go along with the foolishness.
Yeah.
They like, we got us a zip damn fool.
No, I think that's right. Trump. I think that's right. He has, I don't know, I'll call it charisma. To me, he's the opposite of charismatic. He's repellent. But to these Christian nationalists and others, low information voters, victim mindset, white folks, he is charismatic and he gets away with stuff that no one else would get away with. So yeah, he's like their front person. A whole giant cabal of far right wing Christian nationalists and various and sundry white supremacists.
Well, I gave you the history about the white Christian nationalists, and I'm gonna tell you this right here. We better keep an eye on this 14th Amendment birthright citizenship case coming up in front of the Supreme
Real
Court.
Talk. I mean, but
because you know why?
Well,
because
what I've been saying all along. Yeah.
That amendment directly says, supposedly made the Negro, quote, black people, citizens of the United States. So if they strike it down, that effectively means that people who are labeled and identify as Negro, quote, black, are in the United States jurisdiction illegally, which means they can outright send ICE after you.
I mean, it potentially could mean that, yes. That's,
No, that's exactly what it means.
And to be honest with you, I've been saying that all along, Shayon. For some reason, some people who are, FBA oriented, who are, and what they're saying is that, no, that only affects people from other countries. But the 14th Amendment was put in place because of us. So why do we need it? Why did it need to be put in place? It needed to be put in place so we could be citizens. And so if you take it away, what does that mean? Potentially it means we're not citizens, or they can pick and choose. And that, to me, has been one of the underlying goals, which has been obscured by people's delusion that we're at war with immigrants as opposed to fascists.
The Dred Scott case, 1857. Dred Scott went into the court and told the court he was a free Negro. 7 out of 2, Justice Taney, Chief Justice, said, oh, if you Negro, then you property within the law, and you're not a citizen within the meaning of the Constitution and the Declaration of Independence. So they put him and his wife and 2 daughters back in slavery. Congress in 1868 came up with the 14th Amendment to supposedly correct that problem. So that's the basis of your 14th Amendment, birthright citizenship. And we better pay attention.
Yeah, I think it's...
thank you for your time.
It's very well said, Shayon. I thank you for your time. Shayon called me at 800-920-1580. And I invite you to do the same. It is laid out in Project 2025. They did run on what they're doing. Has he kept all of his promises? No, not the ones you needed him to keep about affordability. Not the one about ending the Ukraine war on day one. Not those promises. Not the promise to be the peacetime president. Not those promises. But the promises about taking away our rights. And I do believe that the 14th Amendment, the crusade against the 14th Amendment, the crusade against birthright citizenship is not just a crusade against people who aren't born here. I believe that is planting the seeds for a white and whiter America. And we can say, oh, you're paranoid. Oh, this is a conspiracy theory. But look at every single move this president and his group, his administration, his cabal, look at every single move they're making. What countries are banned from visas? What countries are on the list, no citizenship applications list? What countries are we making it more and more difficult for them to get in here? They're all black people, almost all. There's a couple of what we'd call Arab or Muslim countries, but most of them are African nations. This is philosophically the lightening of America. And that's all based on that replacement theory, which is foundational white supremacy. And I do think Shayon is right. We have to wake up and stop thinking that we're living in the way America used to be or the way America is in theory. What I hadn't heard before was this idea that the Crusades and the Inquisition never stopped. Food for thought. Shayon called 800-920-1580. I encourage you to do the same. I'm Dominique DePrima for KBLA Talk 1580.
More of First Things First with Dominique DePrima when we come forward.
There was a time when I parented out of stress and emotion until one day I heard my father's voice coming out of me. In that moment of pause, I realized that I was on autopilot and I decided that I needed to do things differently. I'm Lisanne Basquiat. I'm a legacy healing strategist, and I want you to join me for Your Past is Your Present. It's a virtual workshop on generational healing, and it's happening on March 1st. Sign up today at shapingfreedom.com. Space is limited, and your healing could start right now.
We've got a lot to talk about.
Hi, I'm Zoe Williams, aka the Voice of Reason, encouraging you to join me weekdays from 7 to 9 p.m. for the world's most intriguing relationship radio roundtable. Every night, I facilitate and encourage our loyal listeners to participate in the most engaging relationship discussions you'll hear anywhere So make it a point to rendezvous with me, Zoe Williams, the voice of reason, Monday through Friday, 7 to 9 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Trust me, your relationships will never be the same. The VOR is on fire tonight.
Unapologetically progressive. KBLA Talk 1580. We've got your black.
Hear that? That's the sound of your life. Perfectly imperfect. Beating in rhythm to the world you've created. But every time you drive after drinking, the music gets drowned out. Your life sounds pretty great. Don't let a buzz ruin it. Buzz driving is drunk driving. Don't drive buzzed. A message from NHTSA and the Ad Council.
LADWP customers get rebates up to $4,000 when you buy a used electric or hybrid vehicle. Installing an EV charger at your home? Get a rebate for that too, up to $1,500. Visit ladwp.com/EV today and start saving. That's ladwp.com/EV.
KBLA Talk 1580, connecting you with the world. African Focus Incorporated is a community-based organization whose mission is to bring Africans and African Americans together, lead charitable initiatives on the motherland, and educate people from all walks of life on the beauty, legacy, and opportunity of Africa's 54 nations. And it's that time once again when African Focus is teaming up with KBLA Talk 1580 for our 8th annual African Focus Trailblazers Tour. Travel with us in 2026 when we're headed to the southern African nations of Zambia and Botswana for a historical, cultural, and vacation tour led by me, Dominique DePrima, Cultural Ambassador for African Focus Incorporated. Enjoy luxurious accommodations, conscious fellow travelers, shopping, adventures, cultural tours, wildlife safaris, and a giant waterfall, one of the world's 7 wonders, along with a chance to be of service at an orphanage on the continent. Become an AFI trailblazer by exploring the motherland with a nonprofit organization that has members in Africa and America to help roll out the red carpet for you, and together we'll make a difference and have fun doing it. For more information, visit africanfocus.org or call 310-676-7300. That's 310-676-7300 or africanfocus.org. Whether it's stateside or exploring the diaspora, we're with you every step of the way. African Focus and KBLA Talk 1580. Come go with us.
Heard any other talk radio lately that sounds anything like this? We didn't think so. You're listening to Unapologetically Progressive, KBLA Talk 1580.
Yes, indeed, and you're invited in at 800-920-1580, 800-920-1580. Amazed and impressed at how many of you actually watched the State of the Union. An hour and 41 minutes of sheer torture, the longest State of the Union in U.S. history. And you know, the lies. I haven't even had time to go over the lies because so many of you are weighing in, and I love that, at 800-920-1580. I do want to remind you that KBLA is having a homegoing for Jesse Jackson Sr., the Reverend Jesse Jackson, on Friday at 7 p.m. at the First AME Church here in Los Angeles. It is free. All are welcome. There will be some incredible speakers, including Tavis Smiley himself, Dr. Cornel West, and others. And it's just our way of giving honor where honor is due, of showing love and light in a way that only we can do here in Los Angeles. And we know that the celebrations of life for Jesse Jackson are numerous. There are a number of community and at least one private ceremony. There will be lying in state and all kinds of things, even though the Speaker of the House refused to put the flags at half staff. We will celebrate him. And so we are stepping up with a West Coast commemoration of the great Jesse Jackson Sr., and hope that you will join. Let's go to Morris calling us from Inglewood. Good morning, Morris.
Good morning, Dominique. I just want to give a shout out to America's favorite taco, Donald Trump, for not going to war with Iran. No, I'm serious about this. He didn't go to war with Iran. He recognizes that Iranians are not defenseless fishermen. He also recognizes that China and Russia, both of them, are not going to allow Iran to fall. And he also recognizes that American technology militarily is obsolete. The Iranians got a missile right now that'll take out all of our carriers, and we know it. That's why we're backing off.
To be honest, I don't think it's Trump that knows that. I think it's the generals. And from my understanding, Morris, some of those generals have been pulling the president to the side and saying, Iran is not some little punk that you can just go beat up on. They have real war capabilities, and it's not going to be cute. I don't know. We don't know for sure that he's going to stay back down on this, but I think you're right. It would be great if he does take the advice of the generals for once and be humble and sit down.
He better do so, because Iran has got the finest military technology in the world with respect to their drones. As a matter of fact, Ibrahim Traoré of Burkina Faso is buying some of their drones. We're in trouble with this one. Martin Luther King, I'm going to end with this. Martin Luther King said that America's arrogance was so bad that God was going to break the backbone of America's power. Dominique, we're seeing it in our time today. Thank you very much. I'll talk to you later.
Whew, yeah, it's a scary time. The official reaction from Iran to the president's State of the Union is a warning sign right there. I mean, they're saying that the president, Donald Trump, is repeating lies about the Islamic Republic's nuclear program and the death toll from their crackdown, really, on anti-government protesters. They're supposed to be going into another round of negotiations. So for him to talk smack at the State of the Union and then Iran to officially call him a liar feels like escalation to me. He said that the U.S. had obliterated Iran's nuclear weapons program. We know from independent reporting that that is not true. We did do airstrikes on them in June, but the UN Nuclear Watchdog Agency says that is not true. And he said he would never allow Iran to build a nuclear weapon. Well, I don't know that he has the power to stop that. We will see. We're supposed to be going into another round of talks. We know that Israel is pushing for war with Iran. We know that they have an outsized influence, to put it mildly, on the president. So we shall see. It's a perilous moment. Let's go to Fred calling us from LA. Hi, Fred. Hi, Fred. You there? Okay, I think we don't have Fred. I see him there, but I don't hear him, so maybe he's got himself on mute or something like that. But we are unpacking the State of the Union, and that's not all. You're invited to call me at 800-920-1580, 800-920-1580, so we can keep it moving with these lies, the State of the Union prevarications. He said energy prices are down. Energy prices are not down. The average energy bill for a typical household in the United States increased almost 7% between 2024 and 2025. And even though he keeps saying he's cutting electricity costs, this is what he does. He says something, and then the reality is something different. These bills are going to keep going up as he continues to push deregulation. Utility companies have already raised rates by $92 billion. That means the bills have gone up. Electric bills for 112 million customers, electric customers, 52 million gas customers. This is not affordability, okay? This is exactly actually what Attorney Jaya Person-Lin was saying that the president would say, and it's what he did. But the fact is, they're not facts. He says we're the hottest country anywhere in the world. We have more jobs, more people working today than ever before in the history of our country. I'm pretty sure you can guess that is not true. These are the smallest rises in job and employment numbers that we have ever seen when it wasn't a pandemic. So basically, the only place that he looks good in comparison to is 2020, right? And it is lower than what we saw under Trump's first term and under Biden. So not only is he not doing better than Biden, he's not doing better than himself the first time. And that's a whole problem, especially when your approval ratings are so low. Shout out to Representative Al Green, who managed to get himself kicked out of the State of the Union again. Remember last time they kicked him out? This time they kicked him out for carrying a black people aren't apes sign. Trump is not the only one who can do political theater, bringing in the men's hockey team and Melania and a partridge and a pear tree. Shout out to Representative Al Green. Black people are not apes, responding to the meme that was posted by the president on his own personal Truth Social page. Well, we do have a lot to talk about, but we're going to leave this State of the Union conversation here for now. We will take it up again tomorrow, I am sure, among other things. We've got news, traffic, and sports right now. And then we get the pleasure of a conversation with a legacy curator and life strategist. Lisanne Basquiat joins us next on KBLA Talk 1580.
KBLA 1580 Santa Monica.
I'm Bree Wood with BIN News Now. President Trump's State of the Union turned tense as Democrats, including Ilhan Omar and Rashida Tlaib, shouted back throughout the speech. Here's House Speaker Mike Johnson.
I thought Tlaib and Omar and a few others really brought shame upon their party and upon themselves. The antics were outrageous.
The loudest moment came when Trump said lawmakers should stand to support protecting U.S. citizens over illegal aliens. Google is apologizing after a push alert about the BAFTA slur incident displayed the racial slur itself. The notification linked to a Hollywood Reporter story and was sent to only a very small group of users. Google says it was not an AI error, but a safety filter failure, and they're deeply sorry and working to prevent it happening again. And the Mega Millions jackpot continues to rise after no one won Tuesday night. The next drawing on Friday will now be worth at least $416